The Sheik, released in 1921. This film was famous back in the day, and part of it had to do with the book, the novel released in 1919 that it was based off of. Yeah, E.M. Hall's novel was a bestseller. It was, I mean, I can't even explain just how famous this book was. And of course, it had controversial content. Things haven't changed. When there's controversial content in a book, people are drawn to it. And the thing is that with the content in the book, it led to some problems with filming this particular movie because of the fact that the book was so well known, the story was so well known, and the directors and producers were trying to figure out, how do we keep the censors off of us? And yet the audience wants this conundrum. However, they were able to work everything out, and it still was a huge success. Now, of course, this has Agnes Ayres, who plays Lady Diana, and Ahmed is played by, of course, Rudolph Valentino. This film helped his career as the sex symbol. He was the first sex symbol of Hollywood, and this film helped that. And now, the story itself, in a nutshell, is this adventurous young lady, Lady Diana, she is adventurous, like I said, and she basically is refusing to get married. She doesn't want to get married because it's going to ruin her adventurous lifestyle and everything else. Well, she's in the desert, of course, and that's when she ends up getting kidnapped. It's the usual story of this beautiful young woman getting kidnapped by a mysterious man. And it goes through their relationship. And so that's pretty much how the story goes in a nutshell, is the relationship between Lady Diana and Ahmed. And of course, you learn quite a bit about Ahmed, is that he's not from the desert, and you learn that through the movie. I'm not going to get into detail about that. You'll have to watch the movie. And now, interesting thing about this film is that it's unclear where the film was shot. They don't know the location. Some say that it was in California, like in Oxnard, California, and others are saying that it's Guadalupe Dunes, Santa Barbara County, and there was another that said like Palm Springs, and then like this other location was like in New York somewhere and everything. So nobody knows exactly where this film was shot, where the location was. So I found that kind of interesting. And so now when it comes to the only critical reception this film received was from critics. Everyone else who saw the film absolutely loved it. So you would think that the avid readers of the book would have a problem, because the controversial content was, of course, removed. And but the film critics thought that leaving out that content would completely ruin the film. But I think that a lot of these people were just drunk on Rudolph Valentino. I won't lie. This was a good film for him. And now this was also, now if you're not familiar with Rudolph Valentino, he is Italian, and he's originally from Italy, and this was his first film to show in Italy. So I don't know why that's so important. I found that interesting. And uh, anyway, so this film is, of course, The Sheik. It was based off of a huge bestseller. It helped uh, with Rudolph Valentino's career as a Hollywood sex symbol. Again, he was the first sex symbol. One thing I will say before I close up on this is one of the things that I just found hilarious about this film, and I think this was the first film when I started doing this with this silent film, is they would have these tents, the small tents, and you go in and it looks like a grand hotel. It's like, no, they're small tents. They shouldn't have. And so I just found that rather funny. So, but anyway, I think that was my only gripe about the film itself. But the yeah, that just wasn't correct. But anyway, so this is The Sheik. It was released in 1921 based off of a huge bestseller, and the only people who had a problem with it were the film critics themselves. Everyone else who loved the book, they didn't have a problem with it. And so the controversial content was obviously removed to keep the critics off their back, and the critics still had a problem with it. And again, it's a mystery where the location was. But anyway, so this is The Sheik, 1921.